You were very clear, and for saying that these cargo, flights carried, in your words, cash in various US dollar denominations, supposes that you had full information about what was on the flight.
Thank you, Samson. I'm excited to be on your show. Good morning to my very good brother, Mr. Bentel, my uncle, Prof. Ntim, and all my friends will be joining very shortly, and our esteemed viewers. I must quickly indicate that in the exercise of oversight as parliamentarians, we are in the minority caucus. This issue, this press conference, took place at a time where we were on recess. And so Parliament had not convened. Just quickly to address the concerns my uncle, Professor Ntim, tenably raised about how to be circumspect in handling matters of security and all that. Just for him to have the full picture and appreciate. So there were three matters that were already in the public, security matters. One was the national security raid that was conducted by the NIB in Sapiman on intelligence. They went with cameras in full glare of the public. They circulated it for the public to know that, yes, there's transparency. And if you hide anything, we'll fish you out. I applauded them for that. And then there was another cocaine. It was about
the 12, 20-footer container.
Absolutely.
That was supposed to be carrying gold, right?
Absolutely.
Gold bars.
And cash.
Okay.
Then around the same time, there was also some high-profile cocaine busts.
And that was in February?
February 9th, exactly.
Okay.
Then there was also a cocaine bust in Takoradi, early March, totaling about a street value of about $150 million. Subsequent to that, there was another high-profile cocaine bust of $350 million. And then they put it out in the media. There was also another incident, which for the first time in about 3 years, we had never had pirates attacking a fishing vessel on Ghanaian waters. And Ghana Armed Forces so responsibly put out a press release, detailed the incident and investigations that were being carried. So we held a press conference as minority caucus, calling on the security apparatus to provide us updates into these incidents that have come.
No issues have been raised with this.
No, yes, so but the conversation.
Let's go for the jugular.
We'll go to that, but I just want for you to know it was a single press conference. The airmed flight was the second issue among the other issues, and we're asking them that what is the status of all these? Now, we have not even had any questions from them yet. We'll come to that. We haven't had any answers. We haven't had any, and I thought the media, I shouldn't even have put this question out there, because the media accompany national security. And 2 months on, we have not had any prosecution of the perpetrators. No one has been arraigned before court. The drugs that were busted, nobody has been arraigned before court. And we are asking what is the status of these, including the airmed suspicious flights, which also came in around the same time. Now, people are so interested in prosecution of Ntim Fordjour, and they're not interested in prosecution of the people behind these crimes.
That is the allegation you have raised.
Yes.
And that's what we are interrogating. That's a matter of controversy now.
So in the matters,
by the way you detailed what you understood to be the cargo that was brought in, a cargo of cash and cocaine, it meant that you had knowledge.
So I have a copy of the press conference here, and you even played a video. We said that our intel has intercepted a certain information, and that information has it that 2 suspicious flights, out of thousands of flights which fly in and depart month by month, out of all that, only 2 were deemed to be suspicious, because one came in around exactly 12th March, departed 25th March. From Gran Canaria and returned to Gran Canaria. The second also came in 20th March and departed 25th March. The one that even came in on 20th March is an air ambulance. He stayed in, and our intel further indicates that there was no patient on board the ambulance, and there was no organ on board, there was no corpse on board, and there was no patient or organ that was taken out on their return. And all of them returned to Gran Canaria And there are antecedents about Gran Canaria when it comes to transnational issues on money laundering and cocaine and all that, those concerns. There are those antecedents. So given all those background, and the suspicion indicated that there were movements from to and from the flight, suspected to be cocaine and cash. And therefore, we are asking the authorities, in the full principle of transparency, which they had demonstrated even in the raid they conducted at Sapiman with cameramen, just to show that we are doing these operations, those security operations, but transparently. They should give us information to verify what is the actual content, because this is a suspicion. Was it truly cocaine and
they have given you information.
And if it is not,
they have given you information about one of the cargo, and they've shown you video footage, and you say that is even fake.
Yeah.
So what's the guarantee that if you got a video footage of the content of the airmed, that one too, you will not say that is fake?
My very good brother, Samson, even the handling of this matter by the government is problematic and gives them away. These are specific security matters. When the pirate incident came, Kwakye Ofosu was not the one who spoke for the Ghana Armed Forces. So why is he trying to now arrogate to himself the spokesperson of security agencies?
Can we stay on the matters?
We
stay on the matters of fact?
We are stating.
Yeah, let's stay on the matters of fact.
Yes, so in respect of the related
you have been giving what you have requested. You have been giving a disclosure showing you the content of the cargo, and it is not cocaine, it is not cash. And
that content is not something that anyone can believe. And even the entire narrative is false, because the assertion that the flights that Kwakye Air came from Rwanda and came to land here to obtain permit to enter EU is neither here nor there. And they claim that Angola doesn't even have the certification to give permits. It's false, because that same airport that he references in Angola obtained that certification to issue RA3 permits way back November 2024. So that assertion is false. So on that premise of his assertion, what else should we even take as
so true? What is the alternative?
And you check, if you check the manifest,
you have been shown what is supposed to be the cargo.
And it is false.
What is supposed to be the content.
It is false.
You say that is fake, that is false. Now you say it is false. So what was in it? Cocaine and money?
No, I'm establishing a point. It cannot also be believed because the response Kwakye Ofosu put out there, it's not credible. The routing of the itinerary of the flight is even inaccurate, because your own station, Joy News, when I put out the information, and NDC quickly came in and did politics and debunked it. Fordjour, a Reverend Minister, is lying, no such flight had come. Quickly Joy News took the pain, checked the itinerary, and confirmed that indeed these two flights entered. Then they sat up. Now check the same fact Joy News verified and put out, indicating the itinerary of Kwakye Air. And they will tell you it's completely different from the itinerary that Kwakye Ofosu put out.
Thank you for that. Let's stay here.
So he has put out inaccurate information.
Let's stay here. You said the plane came and offloaded cargo and then took cargo back. The cargo you say it's offloaded. At least one of the planes, you haven't shown the cargo. So should we take it that you don't have suspicions anymore? Because you said it was suspicion. And you have been shown that it is not cocaine, it is not money.
Now, the credibility of that video and information is in doubt. And I say so because if NIB, if Narcotics Control Commission, if Ghana Airports Company, if Police CID, Ghana Armed Forces, these relevant agencies had put out information, the credibility is high, and there will be no inaccuracies, and there would have been no crimes. That's all we asked for. We simply asked for facts. And when the Armed Forces brought their facts...
Reverend, you are saying that if it was NACOB or the other institutions that told you, that told you or showed you this footage,
then you would want to believe.
The presidency has shown, you would have been okay with it.
You would have believed it because there would have been no inaccuracies.
My question again to you is that
because Kwakye Ofosu
you have a suspicion. You have a suspicion. You have now been shown contrary evidence. You disbelieve that contrary evidence. So where is the alternative evidence?
Now, whenever this question is asked, the counter question I ask is that the moment you put out a credible information, the burden of proof shifts. When I put it out there and they doubted, but Joy News checked and indicated that indeed those flights had come.
So in fact, the burden has not gone anywhere yet because a multitude of suspicions don't constitute proof. So you have not given any proof.
Very well.
Before the burden shifts.
Very well. Let me continue to respond to your concern.
He who that alleges must prove.
Very well.
Where is your proof?
So,
they have shown you the proof. So you disbelieve it. So where's yours?
We have released our press conference, our press statement, and we have stated in there.
You are talking
that
suspicion.
Our intel, yes, please. Our suspicion, is it not the people who gave them intel, upon which intel they went to raid Sapima, upon which intel they went to raid the containers containing cocaine? Samson, going by your logic, did they enter the container to take pictures of the cocaine, took samples of it, brought it as real, physical, tangible evidence, and brought it to national security? That this is our proof, this is our evidence, that there's container in Takoradi, another one in Cape Coast, containing cocaine. Therefore, act on it. If we are in this country and suddenly want to say that before a ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee will ask a simple question of suspicion for relevant authorities to investigate and put out credible information, and that query is evaded by politicians who can't champion the PR of it and prevent the security agencies from undertaking their investigations and credible communication, and demand that the ranking member must bring pictures and samples of the cash and cocaine suspected to be in the flight, then what was the basis for we calling for inquiry and investigations into it? If I don't have a picture and a sample of the cocaine, then I have no gravitas to ask for investigation. Is that a kind of logic? Please, in this matter,
so you are saying
if the government of Ghana is not serious about it,
anybody can get up any day in this country and raise an alarm, and the government should go investigating. And when it investigates and it brings you what it says, this is what the truth is supposed to be.
What investigation?
They should be entitled.
No, please, let me tell you.
Hold on.
No investigation has been done.
They should be entitled to say what the government is showing is false, is fake, and we shouldn't believe that.
Samson, what he put out there cannot be taken seriously, because yesterday I debated Kwakye Ofosu.
The point is here.
Please.
Reverend,
and he stated no investigation has been done.
You are not answering my question.
You said
you're not answering my question.
An investigation has been done, for which he has put this information. And I'm telling you, he himself said no investigation has been done yet.
You say that you have a suspicion.
Yeah.
Have you moved beyond the suspicion?
We have put out the suspicion we had.
So have you moved beyond suspicion?
To where?
Because you have been shown evidence of the content of the cargo.
And that is not credible. That content
so
is not
it
credible.
means you are not dealing with suspicion, right?
No, that content is not credible. And Samson,
it is not credible because you are not dealing with suspicion. Is that correct?
If you will indulge, the moment we put this information out there, the president responded and called for investigation into the matter, and even called for collaboration. I further wrote for that directive that the president had given to be undertaken. I wrote on 2nd April for it. NDC Parliamentary Caucus wrote a letter to gag that process. So it never came on. Subsequent to that,
you put out the information.
No,
before
please,
belatedly,
Samson.
You sought to use the Defense and Interior Committee to want to ask questions, correct?
Not ask questions. If you
your
read,
letter
if
is
you read
dated
my
the
letter,
2nd
if you read
April.
my letter,
your press conference precedes the 2nd of April.
So my press conference was 1st April.
Correct.
President responded and called out my name, that he has constituted NACOC, Police CID, NIB, National Security, to conduct investigations into the matters, collaborating with me. Whilst waiting for an invitation which never came, I volunteered, and as a member of parliament and a ranking member, making such press release or statement in my capacity as such, used appropriate parliamentary procedure to have that collaboration established.
Belatedly.
No, not belatedly.
So from hindsight, do you feel that is what you should have done first before you went public with the suspicion? The suspicion you now elevate beyond suspicion, even in the face of contrary facts being put to you.
The assertion that you cannot engage the fourth estate in matters of security is a fallacy. That assertion,
that's not the assertion.
No, yes.
The assertion is that. The assertion is that.
The assertion is that you cannot engage. It is inappropriate to engage media in matters of security. It's a fallacy.
Spread false information.
Which falsehood has been spread?
To spread false information.
Asking, that's your conclusion.
I am not.
And that's the conclusion of Felix Kwakye Ofosu.
Can you tell me? Can you tell me where your evidence is?
No, that's your firm. What was the evidence of the cocaine intel? Did they bring pictures? I've asked you this question.
So if they have credible intel, they follow. Have you given them credible intel?
No, and I'm telling you is how faulty is the intel I gave them. Let me tell you, see, this whole political thing about the response is what gives the government away, that they are indeed shielding something. But the international community has taken interest. Yesterday, the government spokesperson said, Kwakye Ofosu said that when he was questioned about the directive given by President Mahama about investigations being conducted, he said, and the video I'll send to your producer, they even have the station, they should play it. He said that they are not interested in any investigations. And said, but the president says, oh, I speak on the authority of the president. And the president says that he had to put that information out just so that he makes an example of Ntim Fordjour, not because they are interested in any investigations. And therefore,
I listened to that interaction.
Yes. And so
what I heard him say, and you engaged him, what I heard him say was that
the videos there,
that you have put out false information and you are being asked to collaborate with the security to investigate so that an example will be made of you, people like you, who spread false information.
No. So if you ask questions that we have this suspicion, we are calling on security agencies to investigate and tell us if the suspicion is true or not. Is it not an inquiry? You're a lawyer. How is that false information?
You have been giving contrary information.
How is that? We asked three questions. This was one of the questions. How is that
with what the government says is evidence? You said that is also fake. You don't believe it.
No investigation has been done. When he was asked, Kwakye Ofosu said that directive given by the president itself has not been carried out. No investigation has been carried out. So on what basis have they brought videos?
Hold on for me. So,
but let me just end here.
You are saying that
if they had conducted investigations,
help me understand this. You're saying that you are going to continue to defend and justify your suspicions, regardless of what information the government puts out.
My position is that the security agencies should be allowed. They are willing to investigate and inform the public. Let them, the politicians, allow the security agencies. When they are done with their investigations, they will communicate. And the credibility of what the security agencies will put out there, even if it has semblance with what Kwakye Ofosu has put out there, people will believe because one, there was a process of investigation.
Thank you. You have said that already.
And two,
you have said that already. Hold on for me. Hold on for me. Hold on for me. Thank you, Rev. Hold on for me.
Politicians are jumping in.
Sammy
Ghana Armed Forces issue their own investigations.
Thank you, Rev. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, Rev. What we are working with is see something, say something. He has seen something. He has seen a cargo with cocaine and he said cash in varied US dollar denominations.
Well, it is very clear that he saw nothing and yet chose to say that he had seen something. So this is not a matter of if you see something, say something. This is a clear case of a member of parliament who we are told is a reverend minister deciding to peddle falsehood, deciding to lie about a government, and having been exposed, is now making a mockery of himself. I mean, you listen to him. Please, when you were talking, I was quiet.
I will not sit here for derogatory comments to come from my respected friend.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Nobody has made any derogatory comments.
You speak to the
I am saying that
and keep the sanctity
of the peddled falsehood against the government of Ghana.
I've not peddled any falsehood.
So let me demonstrate how you peddled falsehood. So keep quiet.
No flag came from Rwanda.
Maza, keep quiet.
So you have peddled falsehood.
Let's have a very decorous discussion. When you were speaking, I was here. And you've had ample time to make your case. Show viewers and listeners the same respect.
But keep
that
it
I've shown
across.
you. I'm saying that you peddled falsehood. He's sitting here saying that they had suspicions, and they put out the suspicions, asking questions and, soliciting explanations from the government. Number one, you don't hold press conferences based on suspicions. That is reckless, that is irresponsible. This country is a serious country. You cannot wake up in the morning because you are hungry or you overate and said, I have this suspicion. So I hold a press conference and require law enforcement agencies to investigate your suspicions? You think that is what our security agencies are there for?
He said he was engaged in oversight duties as a member of Parliament.
But oversight duties is not about raising suspicions. That is irresponsibility. That is recklessness.
You can't ask questions.
When you are exercising oversight, you exercise oversight based on facts. Even if you have suspicions, the suspicions must have some basis. You've not done you didn't do any checks, you didn't provide any information. And you are talking about suspicions that you require state security agencies to spend taxpayers' money in investigating suspicions? That speaks volumes of this whole matter. It speaks volumes about your own credibility. But in any case, Samson, I submit to you that his press conference did not allege suspicions and did not invite state security agencies to investigate suspicions. He is lying again because he has been caught pants down.
You have a copy of the press conference.
We played the portion that you spoke about.
Are you a reverend minister?
Let me have it again. I want to read the specific portion again to him. Yes, go on.
Look,
go on.
I am reading a quote from his press conference, and this quote was reported by My Joy Online. This is a direct quote, and I want to read that to you. There is no evidence. This is quote Ntim Fordjour speaking. There is no evidence of any medical referral or patient on board. Speaking about that ambulance aircraft. Rather, our intelligence, not suspicion, our intelligence suggests that the aircraft was used to smuggle illicit cargo, unquote. Where is suspicion? Why do you lie like that?
Who answers?
Did you allege suspicion here? You are talking about intelligence. What is intelligence? Intelligence means that you have been given, you have received credible information about the existence of some facts or a certain situation, and you are saying that because of that, you think that these aircrafts which arrived in Ghana were used to smuggle illicit substances. You made mention of cocaine. You made mention of cash relative to money laundering and so on. Categorical allegations. Now the President of the Republic says, okay, I want to give you an opportunity to share this intelligence you have with the state security agencies so that they can investigate it. I mean, if you don't share the intelligence with the state security agencies, where should they start their investigations from? So what any responsible lawmaker exercising oversight would have done would be to say, thank you, Mr. President. I will, voluntarily, or I will happily honor the invitation of any state security agency tasked to investigate this matter.
Samson, ask him.
Yet you,
where the invitation
Chief,
5 days now. Where was it?
Chief. I think that you are being disruptive. I think you are being disruptive. I think you are being disruptive. I think you are being disruptive. Allow me to make my point. I think you are being disruptive. So you should have been happy about the invitation extended to you to adduce the intelligence you have so that the state security agencies can do what you're calling on them to do.
It's been said that by Felix Kwakye Ofosu that it was security called Afenyo-Markin to make Reverend available. He denies that. And Felix is saying that he had sought to, Afenyo-Markin replied back that because what he was doing was an oversight job, they may have to go through the speaker. So now national security is going to write to the speaker to invite him in
that-
the same way,
look,
in the
should
same
that-
way that they have invited
that-
A plus and
Hold on.
Mustafa
Should that-
But
to
even though
appear.
they are not
should that-
assessment
to have the
oversight,
scripture.
Hold on.
simply
You see,
fundamentally, if you are
All right,
inviting
wait,
a member of
just
parliament,
should that-
even without oversight, that's a procedure. If you are inviting a member of parliament, even if he spoke from his garden egg farm on any matter that requires invitation, you don't call somebody, whether he's leader, you go by procedure. Had anybody used that procedure? It has even nothing to do about that.
Yes.
Listen.
You have no invitation, yet you lied.
Are you listening?
Let
Are you
him
listening to yourself?
No.
You,
Get to the
a
point.
law-abiding citizen, a member of parliament, who claims to be exercising oversight, you say you have intelligence that certain aircrafts came into Ghana smuggling illicit substances. You even need an invitation before you go and do that
that's why I
intelligence?
wrote.
Maza,
That
you
is
have
why I
lied.
wrote.
You have proven
On
to be
second
totally
of-
reckless and irresponsible.
That's why on second of
and if
April,
you had
I
a
wrote.
conscience,
Why did you block that
If
invitation?
you had a conscience,
Why did you block
will
that
be
collaboration?
apologizing for that lie.
Why did you?
You'll be
You
apologizing
should be
for that lie.
apologizing
You are just you
for
have just
disgracing the
proven to be a
presidency
liar.
and
Sammy,
reducing
Sammy,
the
thank you,
presidency
thank you.
into
Hold
a
on.
mere propaganda.
I'm not done.
Hold on.
No, something. No, I
Reverend
think
Ntim,
I
hold on, I'll return to you. Hold on.
Allow the
No
security
problem.
to do their job.
Reverend Fordjour, in your press statement in paragraph 1, you said that the airmed flight and Havoc Air private jet transporting suspected cocaine and cash. And then you went ahead to give the details of the flight and the time, the period they stayed in the country and so on and so forth. Do you know, as a member of parliament, that if I sat here and made this claim, or any Ghanaian sat anywhere and made these claims, by now they would be either in custody or they would be in court seeking bail for a trial?
Do you know that anyone behind the cocaine bust, $150 million, behind the $350 million cocaine bust, behind the money laundering and the 12 container filled with gold and cash, busted in the full glare of media by national security, among other things we are asking questions for, should have by now been arraigned before court?
That's correct.
Shouldn't we rather be more interested in that?
That does not excuse.
If they are interested
that does
in
not
my
excuse. That
if
does
they
not
are
excuse
interested
an
in my
answer for the
persecution,
question I asked
I
you.
don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that
No,
at
but I
all.
asked you a specific
No,
question.
I don't have a
You will
problem
not
with
answer
that
the
at all.
question because
I have
this
told
is
you
a
to you,
liar who has been
if
caught
the
pants
priority
down
of the
in
government
the sophisticated
is
issues.
to
I think
seal
you
and
have my
protect
point.
drug cartels,
will not answer the
protect
question.
money launderers that they themselves have busted.
Those are
and are
different
going after
issues.
members of parliament,
Those are different issues that we can
legitimately
deal with.
raising legitimate
This
questions.
is an allegation that you are
And
raising,
they
and we have to
are
interrogate it.
security
Correct?
agencies. From why are they gagging
Especially that you
security
say the government position is incorrect. We have to interrogate yours.
Because the government spokesperson
So what should we
said
do
that.
now? What should we do now?
The government spokesperson.
What should we do about what you
The
have put out
government
in the public?
spokesperson.
What should we do about it?
Please. The government spokesperson said that this investigation directed by President Mahama, he didn't mean it.
Let's not repeat these
And that it
things.
was
I'm
only meant
asking
to make an example
I'm
of
asking
me.
you, what do you want
They
to be
should
done
go
now?
ahead and make example
What do you
of
want to
me.
be done now?
They should go ahead and make example
Rev,
of me.
you answer my question. What should be
Consistent with
done
what they said.
about
You will
what
not
you have said
answer,
now?
so let's move on.
What should be done now is for them to go ahead to say to do what they said they would do, to make an example of me and disregard the investigation that Ghanaians are calling.
You don't admit that you don't admit that you did any wrong. You don't admit that you did any wrong.
There's no wrongdoing. There's no wrongdoing whatsoever.
Is it okay for any citizen to
There's no
speak about
wrongdoing.
suspicions?
What is suspicion?
And speak about them publicly without talking to the security about it?
So, since when did it become practice that when a member of parliament is exercising the parliamentary
wait.
tools, we have a lot of parliamentary tools. One, the media is one, raising urgent questions is one, filing ordinary questions is one, filing oral questions is one, calling legitimate relevant agencies before the committee is one. I have used 2 of these tools in exercising this matter. And so if you consider it wrong, let the jury add their judge.
The contest is that after you made a press conference and you became aware that you may have done wrong.
I've not done any wrong.
Can I ask you a question?
That is your conclusion.
I'm asking you a question.
There's no wrong.
Please, can I ask a question, please? After you made the claims in the public and you discovered that you were going to be a subject potentially of prosecution and jail, then you decided belatedly
No,
perhaps having been advised by lawyers,
that is false.
To now try to use the Defense and Interior Committee to ask for the security to come and brief you. Otherwise, that ought to have been your first step.
I take strong exception to that, Samson. The reason why I wrote to calling for the joint meeting was because I respected the directive given by President
Should that not
Mahama.
have preceded your press conference?
Nothing should have preceded
okay,
what we did.
Thank you very much.
There was nothing
thank you.
But let me respond
what did you want to say?
The strong assessment.
Hold on.
I've not done any wrong.
Quickly, hold on.
And it is false what you're accusing.
Kofi,
you should rather tell them to do the right
what did you want to say?
When the state is threatened, it is really sad that the issue becomes partisan. If we didn't have the kind of polarity we had, and somebody says or suspects that something like this has happened, and note that drug trafficking goes to personal gain and national ruin. I think that if things were better, it should not be impossible for Parliament or persons like him to even be included with the security agencies to just investigate it, not because some wrong has been done, but for the facts to be clear.
Kofi, what he did, would you advise him to have done that as a lawyer? Would you have advised him to go public and speak about suspicion and belatedly go to seek to ask for a briefing by the security or to the Committee of Defense?
No, please. Let me answer.
I'm asking you a question.
Your claim is wrong. That's not what I did.
Boss, you went to the press.
Please, your claim is wrong.
You wrote to the committee.
Samson, I disagree with you.
You went to the press on the 1st.
Samson, I disagree
with you. Your letter to the committee
this
was
about
on the
5 times,
2nd.
and you are wrong. I keep prompting you.
Reverend.
When a member of Parliament raises the question.
Reverend.
And you
have told us here. Reverend,
please.
Reverend, hold on. You held your press conference on the 1st of April, correct?
In Parliament.
Thank you. Correct?
In Parliament.
1st of April, correct? And then you wrote your letter on the 2nd of April, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Kofi.
So that